Alright, so in this lecture, we're going to be talking about a technique called drawing through. Now what that means is drawing through to the other side of your object as if it's see-through, right, or a wireframe. For example, let's say that we are draw an elephant. Create a new layer here that I can draw on really quick. Okay, so let's say I'm drawing an elephant, right, and I'm working on his body. If this is kind of the front of his body, right, this is the front, okay, and this is kind of like the side, then we know that we can't see the back side of him, right? We would have a leg here, right? He'd have a leg that comes down, and then his other leg back here that would come down, right? But we can't really see the other side of his body. So this is where drawing through comes into play. Drawing through helps us to be able to see and imagine where different parts are that aren't actually visible to the viewer. So for example, if his body is shaped like this, we're going to know that his other leg is going to be over here somewhere. So I'm drawing through as if his body is invisible, so I can see the other side where his leg would be placed and picture it more easily. Then when I create a new layer, I can ignore that and draw over these lines that I made when I drew through so that I can come back and just cover them up, right? I only have to focus on the ones that you would be able to see. Same with the back leg. I'm going to imagine it's probably somewhere right around here, right? So that can help us place those legs better. Same with his head, right? So we have his head here, and his trunk is going to come down. Doesn't look like a perfect elephant, far from it, but let's kind of just stylize it a little bit so that we can be able to see where these ears line up. So we have an ear there. Oops, too big. And then his eye we'll put about right here. If we have this here, right, we have his head, then we can draw through by looking at the other side of his head and seeing, okay, this would line up here, right? So we know that's going to be about there, the top of his ear. It's going to go up about to there. And it looks like we'll probably actually come back on this side. Yeah, so by drawing through we can picture where exactly that needs to be, right? And then let's add some sort of tusks. I'm just going to kind of flesh out his backside here a little bit and work on his neck too. Just kind of want to clean up the drawing a little bit. Okay. So for his tusks, I have one right here, and the other one we can imagine is going to be over here. And it will come back into his face about right there. Okay. So when you're doing this, especially when you're doing like stuff with form and you're trying to block out shapes, drawing through so you can see the full shape will really help you out. So for example, let me just finish up this trunk really quick. So for example, if you're drawing a sphere, right, instead of just drawing the visible side, if you draw the whole elliptical that goes along that sphere, it can be easier to kind of visualize the cube, right? Same with if you're drawing like something like this. If you draw the backside, right, as if the cube is see-through, then you can know more clearly, let's say there's going to be an arm on either side, you could picture where those arms are going to go much easier than just trying to guess out of your head, right? So then what we could do, if we make a new layer, and we just lower the opacity on this one, we can redraw without having to take into account all that stuff we sketched over. So for example, I'll show you what I mean here. We're just going to quickly do a little refined sketch layer on this, and you'll see that when I get to the parts where I've drawn through, I don't have to go back and redraw it through because I've already done that on my sketch layer, and that helps me get my ear placement a lot more accurate, helps me get my leg placements a lot more accurate, right? Now this isn't just gonna make you perfect at it, right? You got to practice thinking about things in 3D and thinking about them in forms before this is really going to help you a ton. Otherwise, even if you're drawing through, you won't necessarily know where to place stuff if you don't know how to view the object in 3D in your head. Right? I mean, you have to practice a bit to get to that point, but this is how you do it once you start getting to that point and you've practiced a lot. Okay? So this tusk will come over here. Okay. Pretty simplified, but now we can turn this layer off or down. You can see we're able to get a pretty good sketch by drawing through, and it looks like everything is placed pretty accurately. Okay, same like if we do this box really quick, you can see we can only make sure that the parts we wanted to show visibly are showing while still keeping it pretty accurate to perspective. See what I mean? So that's drawing through. It takes practice to be able to learn where things are actually going to be placed, but drawing through would definitely help you put them in the right spot. So that's it for this lecture, and I'll see you guys in the next one.